welcome back to my channel. And if it's your first time here, hello. My name is Alyssa Webb with eXp Realty in Billings, Montana. I am the Montana real estate mom. You know, I keep calling myself the Montana real estate mom, and I realized you guys have barely seen my kids. I think I've had a few of my kids make a cameo once. So let me show you my kiddos. Here is my cute little family. Okay, not so little. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 kiddos, that's my family. Sometimes, hopefully, we'll get them to make an appearance. Some of them are camera shy. Here on my channel, you're gonna hear about all things real estate related, and today is gonna be real estate for dummies. We are gonna go over some common vocabulary, common words that you will hear during the home buying or the home selling process. Let's jump right in. Most realtors, especially myself, live, eat, and breathe all things real estate. So sometimes for us, what we consider like common words that we just know and know exactly what they are, sometimes we can forget that the clients we are working with may not know what we're talking about. So let's go over some of those common words that you're gonna hear, and now you may not even have to ask your agent about them. Okay, so the first one, when you're looking for homes like on an app like Realtor.com or Zillow.com, and you're going through and it shows the status of it. Active. Active means that that home is still available. It's actively on the market. You can probably get a showing scheduled and get in to see it. Another one that you're gonna see if you're using like the Zillow or the Realtor, the Trulia apps, is under contract. Sometimes you'll see the word contingent. So that means the sellers have accepted an offer and it is signed by both the seller and the buyer, and the buyer still has to do their home inspection, or maybe an appraisal needs to be done. That is what under contract or contingent means. Most likely, you're not going to be able to get in to see this home unless maybe they're taking a backup offer. Another type of being under contract is pending. Usually we'll see pending in my area if it's like cash offer and there's no contingency. So the buyer, if they're not doing a home inspection, or if there's not going to be an appraisal of the property, we'll just do pending. You've already heard me say it a few times, appraisal. So if the buyer is getting financing, then the lender is going to send out an appraiser to figure out the home's value, because that lender is not going to give the buyer more money than the home is worth. Another word you've heard me say a few times already, contingency. So yes, contingent can mean under contract, but what are those actual contingencies? So the dictionary definition of contingency is like something that could happen. In real estate, a common contingency is home inspection contingency, appraisal contingency, financing contingency, or a home sale contingency. Those are very common. It just means that the buyer can terminate if they're not satisfied with the home inspection. It could mean if the financing falls through, they can terminate. Or if the buyer has a home to sell and they have to sell that home in order to purchase a new one, that is a contingency. Okay, earnest money. This one is often confused with like down payment. Earnest money, let's think of it like in terms of an engagement ring. And no, this is not an engagement ring. I'm not engaged. So an engagement ring is like a promise to get married, right? It's like the intention to get married. So earnest money is that intention to buy a home. It is the buyer's skin in the game. It is what they are offering to the seller to say, hey, I am serious about purchasing your home. That earnest money here in Montana gets deposited with the title company, and that opens escrow. So, escrow, what is that? It is like the 30 to 45 day process. That's about how long it is right now. From the time a contract is signed until closing day. This is when everyone is getting all their stuff in order. So the lender's getting all their stuff in order for the buyer, and the title company's getting all their stuff in order for signing day. So that is escrow. Believe it or not, these next two get confused all the time. Buyer's agent and listing agent. So let's start with the listing agent. The listing agent is the one who represents the seller who lists the home for sale. On the flip side of that, a buyer's agent is the agent that represents the buyer and brings the offer to the seller, to the listing agent. Now, sometimes these can be one and the same. Oftentimes, the listing agent will have the buyer for the house too. In Montana, it is absolutely legal. You can represent both sides of the transaction as long as it's agreed to in writing. That is called dual agency. However, it is very common for one agent to represent the buyer and one completely different agent to represent the seller. Now, something to keep in mind for you buyers out there, you do not have to contact every single agent of a home you're interested in. So, for instance, if you like a home on one street and a home in another neighborhood and you're just calling all the listing agents of all those different properties to get information, you don't have to do that. That is exactly what a buyer's agent is for. The buyer's agent is there for you, to represent you, to do all that digging and find out that information for you. Let's talk about the inspection period. So if you're in Montana, this is going to be like your home inspection contingency. In other states, sometimes this is called due diligence. And I know in a lot of states it's called due diligence. So in Montana specifically, what you're going to see is the inspection notice and the seller's response. So the inspection notice is what the buyer prepares to give to the seller and what they're asking the seller to either repair or replace based on the home inspection that was performed. Now, the seller can either accept it, reject it, or modify it. If the seller chooses to modify that, it is called a seller's response. And the seller's response, the buyer can either accept it or not. So in some states, again, this is called due diligence, but here in Montana, we just call it the inspection notice. If any of this information was interesting to you and you learned something, then you're going to want to hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for an upcoming video I have on common real estate abbreviations. This one is not only great for sellers and buyers, but also for you new agents out there.